Alright, so let's go ahead and solve this one. This one we basically have to sketch the graph. Okay, sketch the graph of a function f such that the limit as x approaches -2 from the left is 5, from the right is -infinity, and here it says as x approaches 1 is -6. So here this is implied that it's from both directions, and here to positive infinity is 3. Okay, so how would you draw this graph? Okay, so we have this axis over here. So let's just draw our x-axis and y-axis. Okay, so here x-axis, y-axis. So how are you going to draw this? So first of all, we have that the limit as x approaches -2 from the left side. Okay, so let's just say this is -2. Okay, so -2 from the left side is going to be 5. Okay, so if you're, let's say, because it has to be a function. Okay, so let's say that it's a function like this. Okay, and as we're approaching from the left side, okay, from -2, so that the value is basically going to be +5. Okay, so like the limit as you're approaching -2, okay, from the left side, your value is getting close to 5. Okay, so this is going to be for this one. And now from the right side, if you approach it from the right side, what is your value tend to approach? Okay, so now you just have to do this for this one as you approach it from the right side. Okay, so if you go ahead and approach it from the right side, so you should basically get an answer as a -infinity. Okay, if you're getting an answer as a -infinity, that means that's a question of vertical asymptote. Okay, so you're getting a vertical asymptote over here. But if you're approaching from infinity, that's a question of horizontal asymptote. Okay, so horizontal asymptote, so you're just gonna have a vertical asymptote. So you have a vertical asymptote as x approaches -2. Okay, so here if you're approaching it from the right side, okay, so you're like if you're approaching it from the right side, so here you should basically get infinity in here. Okay, so here it does not exist on -2 from the right side. Okay, so here we know that as you're approaching from the right side, it has to approach -infinity. Okay, so like from the right side, it is basically getting -infinity. Okay, so like if your values are approaching from the side, okay, so like from the right side, it is basically getting to -infinity. If we approach -2, okay, so if you're approaching as you're approaching -2, it is the values are basically getting close to -infinity. Okay, so there's like an asymptote at -2 because these values are getting to -infinity. Okay, so now let's move on to this one. So this one basically says limit as x approaches 1 is -6. So that means from both directions. Okay, so if let's say this value is 1, okay, so I'm just gonna make this one like -6. Okay, so let's say this is 1 and this is -6. Okay, so then this one is going to be from the right side and from the left side. They both are going to approach this value. So okay, let's just say this is going to go like this. Okay, so then this means, okay, so the values from both sides from 1, if you approach it from the left side 1 and also from the left side, right side, both of them are basically going towards 6, towards -6. Okay, so because the limit from both directions is going to be -6. Okay, so now once this is done, function as x approaches infinity is basically equals to 3. Okay, so as x approaches infinity, so like I said, it has to be a horizontal asymptote. So if you're approaching from the 3, so the y value has to be equals to 3. So let's just say this is 3. So then you'll basically end up having a horizontal asymptote over 3. Okay, so then this value is basically going to get like this. Okay, so because you are as your values are approaching towards infinity, x values, your y value is just going to approach 3. Okay, so this is basically your graph that you should look like after sketching all the limits. So yeah, this is it. I hope that makes sense. If there's any question or anything, please do let me know in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to answer them. Alright, so now let's move on. Have a A, B, and C. We have 3 parts to this question. Okay, and for all these questions, they're basically asking you for all the following questions, show all the steps. Okay, so whatever we do, we have to show all the steps. Otherwise, we won't get any points. Okay, so now here they're basically asking you to find the limit as x approaches 6 of this function right over here, and they're basically given as x approaches 6 of f of x is 3 and of g of x is -4. So you just cannot go ahead and plug in like this. Okay, this is 4 and this is 3. Okay, -4. Okay, and this is 3. No, you'll basically have to show all these steps. Okay, for by that I mean is that you basically have to show that the limit, you put it over here, so it has to go inside. Okay, so that is basically what you have to show. So you're just gonna write like limit as x approaches 6 of f of x. Okay, like this, and at the bottom as well, so limit as x approaches 6 of f of x, and then negative limit as x approaches 6 of 3g of x. Okay, so once you have written this, you can basically go ahead and replace your values that you were given. Okay, so now this one is given as 3, okay, and this one's given as 3 as well, and then you have 3 times -4. So this is basically going to end up giving you 3 over 15. All right, so now we can move on to the part B. Here for part B, you need to evaluate this limit over here, but if you try to just plug in your limit inside, so you get 1 over 0, and you don't know how to solve this one. Okay, so and factoring doesn't work here as well. So what is our answer then? Then we have to use squeeze theorem. Okay, so that's the only option that we have left with. So squeeze theorem, how do we evaluate the functions like this one? So we have sine theta, it is always oscillating between -1 and 1, and here the theta is basically replaced with 1 over x cubed. So that is what you're going to do. So you have your sine of 1 over x cubed, and that is basically oscillating between -1 and 1. Okay, so now your original function is basically given to you as x to the power of 6, but you have your function like this after replacing theta. So you need to convert it into in this form, okay, which includes x to the power of 6. So how are you going to do this? So to make that, you basically have to multiply the whole expression by x to the power of 6. Okay, so if you go ahead and multiply this, so this multiplied with -1, this is basically going to end up getting negative x to the power of 6. Okay, and this one multiplied with this one is just going to end up having the same thing. Okay, but it's just going to be a positive one. Okay, and now after multiplying this expression is equals to what we were looking for. Okay, which was originally given to us in the equation. So that means now we can evaluate the limit. So if you go ahead and evaluate the limit, okay, limit as x approaches 0 on this side as well. Okay, limit as x approaches 0 on this side as well, and even in here. Okay, so if you go ahead and evaluate this limit over here, what do you get after plugging these two? You get 0 and 0. Okay, so since you get 0, so in here, okay, so here you get 0, and also here you get 0, and since you get 0 over here, so this basically means that your function in here is basically your limit for this one is basically between 0 and 0. So here you can basically conclude that with the squeeze theorem, limit as x approaches 0 of x to the power of 6 sine of 1 over 3 is basically equivalent to 0, and this basically completes your question over here. So let's move on. Okay, so we have our next question over here as this one, limit as x approaches pi of ln of 6 plus cosine of x. So if we want to find the limit of this one, how do we find the limit of this one? Okay, so here, since they asked you at the beginning of the question, remember, show all the steps. So first you have to make sure that you show that all these functions are continuous. That's why you're able to put your limit inside. Okay, so for this you'll have to show, okay, so here what you basically have to do is you have to show for all the functions that over here that they are continuous, okay, before you can basically go ahead and plug in the values. So for ln of x, the continuous function, how you're going to show it by showing only the domain of this, that the domain is continuous. So that means the function itself is continuous. Okay, for the domain of this one, you're basically going to write 0 to positive infinity because the ln graph is going to look like this one. Okay, so from 0 to infinity, and then you have your cosine of x. Cosine of x, that it's something function looking like this. So that is basically a real number. Okay, so it is continuous over a real number, and since we know that this function, this whole expression, okay, so if you add 6 or 9, it doesn't matter. Okay, so here since this one is continuous and this one is also continuous, therefore we can say that, okay, so the limit, okay, so if you find the limit as x approaches infinity of only this inside function that you see over here, 6 plus cosine of x, so that is basically a -1, okay, and then we have 6, okay, if you put this pi inside, so that is just going to be a -1, okay, in radian 1, okay, cosine of pi, that's going to be a -1. So you basically end up getting a 5 over here for the infinity, for the inside limit. So now you can basically go ahead and say f of x is continuous, so your whole function right over here, f of x is basically continuous because this function is continuous and this function is continuous, so that means this whole function is continuous, right? So you can say that the function is continuous and the limit of g of x being the inside function exists, okay, therefore I am able to plug my limit in. Okay, so that's why you're able to plug your limit in once you know that the limit of inside function exists and you know the function is basically a continuous function. So now if we found 5 for the limit, okay, so the outer function was basically ln of something, so ln of 5 is basically going to be your final answer for limit as x approaches infinity of that function over here. Okay, so that is basically going to be your final answer. If you want to write it in decimal form, so 1.6094 should be your final answer over here, because you see we had ln of something, so that's why inside function we found it as 5, so that's why the answer is ln of 5 and like this in decimal form 1.6094. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And because we have to show all the steps, so we have to show that the function is basically a continuous function and the limit exists. That's why we're able to plug your limit in. So every time it shows that to show all the steps, that's how you're going to do this. And two-sided limit of this function over here. Okay, one-sided and two-sided means, okay, from the left side and from the left side of the right, from left and right of the function. Okay, so now here we basically going to go and find the limit from the left side of this function right over here. So if we go ahead and find from the left side, okay, so now if you just go ahead and plug this in, so you get -5 positive 5, which you get as 0. So you basically get a 0 in the denominator. Okay, 0 in the denominator, and getting a 0 in the denominator basically means that you are dealing with vertical asymptote. Okay, so your final answer is just going to be positive infinity or negative infinity. Okay, so whenever you're dealing with vertical asymptote questions, so this is how you're going to do it. Okay, so because you are taking the limit from the left side, okay, from the left side, which basically means 5 from the left. So all the values lower than 5 is basically what you mean. Okay, so -6, -7, -8. So you can basically go ahead and choose any value. So like let's say we choose -6. So -6 because it is among the values less than -5, right? Because we're approaching from the left side of -5. So we have to take all the values below -5. So let's just say we arbitrarily choose one value, which is -6, and we do -6 positive 5. Okay, and here we are going to put exactly -5 over here. At the top, it doesn't matter. So at the top, it's going to give you a 6 here because negative, that's going to be a positive. And at the bottom, you will basically end up getting a negative number. Okay, and here, since you're getting a negative number, so what you can do is that you can basically go ahead and report it by 0 negative side. Okay, so 0 from the left. So since you get a positive number at the top and a negative number at the bottom, so positive or negative, that basically means you'll basically end up getting a negative infinity, because positive over negative means a negative number, and you already know that your answer will be either positive infinity or negative infinity. So that means you'll basically end up getting a negative infinity as the final answer. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Okay, so here because we get a -1 over here, which is basically a negative number. Okay, so this is how you should be able to do this. So now we're basically going to move on to the second one over here. Okay, so the second one is basically limit as x approaches -5 from the right side. The same thing we're going to do. Okay, but now this time we have 5 from the right side. Okay, so x from the right side. So now what you do is like because we are approaching from the right side, so which means all the values greater than 5. Okay, so that could be 6, that could be 7, that could be any value. So you're going to choose any value among them. So let's just go ahead and choose 6. So if we go ahead and choose positive 6 positive 6 plus 5, okay, so and here at the top we have again our 6 at the top, so that is basically going to be 0 from the right, which means we'll end up getting a positive value. So that means a positive value and positive value and a positive value. So that means your final answer is just going to be a positive infinity over here. Okay, and since you get positive infinity and negative infinity, which means your final answer should be what? So limit as x approaches 5, as x approaches -5 of the function is basically does not exist because the values do not match up. Next question is find the interval on which the function, so we have given this function over here is basically continuous. So find the interval on which this given function is continuous. So how do we do this? So here our function is basically cosine of x over x minus 4 and square root of x plus 1. Okay, so for this one, you basically have to break all your parts of the function and see which ones are continuous where and what. Okay, so here cosine of x, you already know that it is continuous over real numbers. Okay, so it is continuous everywhere. Okay, and next you know that the x minus 4, that is in the denominator. Okay, so how do we find the domain of this one? If it's in the denominator, so we basically make it equals to 0, right? So if we make it equals to 0, okay, so not equals to 0, because the denominator we know that it cannot be equals to 0, right? So if we do that, so we get x equals to 4. Okay, so x not equals to 4 we get if we move the 4 to the other side, so it becomes positive 4. So x not equals to 4 we get as the domain of this one. Okay, so we basically have to, because the domain is basically if you find the domain, that is basically the interval for continuity as well. So that's why we have to figure out the domain of each one. So cosine is a real number and x minus 4 is basically going to be x not equals to 4, which you can also write it as negative infinity to 4 and then union. So because 4 is not included, right? And then you're going to write 4 to positive infinity. And next we have our function as x square root of x plus 1. And for square root, you guys already know to figure out the domain, we just make it greater than equal to 0. Okay, so if we make this one greater than equal to 0, so the square root is going to go over there. So then we have x plus 1 greater than equal to 0. So this is basically going to be x greater than equal to -1. So you get this one over here, x greater than equal to -1, which basically means -1 is included, and then -1 to positive infinity. This is going to be your interval over here. So because your final answer is basically asking to find the interval on which this whole function is continuous over here. So that means we have to find the intersection of all these domains that we have written over here. Okay, this is basically real, so that's everywhere, so that doesn't really matter. So we have these two over here. So these two, we have to find the intersection of those. So let's just make the grid over here. So we have over 4 over here. Let's just say we have our -1 over here. So let's say this is 0. Okay, so this is 0 and this is our -1. So okay, so let's just make this is 2. This is 4. Okay, so let's just say this is 4. And we have another one over here. This is for the, so this one we have it as x not equals to 4. So this means, okay, so this means we have everything. So we basically have everything except for 4. Okay, so there's a circle at 4. We have everything is included except for 4. And what does this mean? X is greater than equal to -1. So all the values bigger than -1. Okay, so all the values bigger than -1 but this time it is including -1 as well. It is not like excluding -1, because here it was excluding 4. Here it is including -1 as well. Okay, so now what is going to be the intersection of all these points? So you guys see from here it's going to cut. Okay, from here it's gonna cut, and both of them they are going to infinity. So here this should be the cut of those, the intersection of both. But here 4 should be excluded, because in this one the 4 is excluded. Okay, so then your final interval should be, so you can write your final answer as continuous. So you can say function is continuous on positive from infinity, or from -1, because this one is included. So you have to put the interval as included, and then 4, which is not included, remember, and then you're gonna go from 4 to positive infinity, and this should be your answer. Okay, so remember, from -1 is starting, and 4 is not included because of this one, and then after 4 it is just going to infinity. So this should be your interval for this one. So now coming to our last question of the okay, so this is just going to be the last question of this video over here. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if there's any feedback that you would like to give me, please do let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear any feedback from you guys. If there's anything that I need to improve, or if there's anything I did good, bad, any kind of feedback, please do let me know, and make sure to subscribe as well, because it motivates me to make more such content for you guys. Alright, so now moving on to this last question over here. For what values of c is the following function continuous? Okay, so we have to figure out the values of the c, for which this given function over here is basically a continuous function over here. How can we figure out that? Okay, for a function to be continuous, two conditions has to be met. Okay, first is basically the limit should exist, and the value at the limit should be equal to the function value itself. Okay, so for example, if you had limit as x approaches 6 from both sides, is let's say equal to 0. So that means f of 6 also has to be equal to 0. So the limit value should exist. So the limit exists from both sides, and it's equal to 2, and the function value is also equal to that limit value. So this is basically a definition for continuous function. And since they're already telling you that the function is continuous, means they're already telling you that the limit from the both sides exists. So since the limit at both sides exists, so like I said, so if the limit as x approaches 2, let's say, is equals to, let's just say 8. Okay, so because from if we approach it from positive side or negative side, they both have to be equal to 8. So we already know the value of the y, both of them are approaching 8. Okay, we already know that. So that means we can, to figure out the c value over here, we basically have to make them equal to each other, because their y value is basically equal when their x value is basically equals to 3. Okay, so as you're approaching 3 from the left side, so this is, and this is from the right side, and this is from the left side. So either we approach it from the left or right side, they're basically equals to each other, their y value. So if we go ahead and approach it from 3, so okay, so let's go ahead and plug in 3 in this equation. So if we go ahead and plug 3 inside this equation, so this should give you 3c minus 7 equals to 9 plus 1. Okay, so let's just do some math over here. So 8 over 3c minus 7, and then we get 3c over 15. So your c value is basically equals to 5. So you just figure out your c value over here, and this basically completes this video. So if you guys haven't watched my calculus video playlist, make sure to watch this out. And also I made another video on solving midterm 2, so make sure to watch that out by clicking on this button right over here. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.